Okay. Oh, what a long day. Perfect. Thanks, Nye. Yeah, so busy week, busy week. I thought I was gonna have a lot more time to, play with the kind of the settings here on the live stream. I thought I was gonna have a bunch of time to experiment and try stuff out and yada yada, and it just didn't happen. So, yeah, I mean, it's just par for the course at this point, right? Best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. So, certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. So we'll go through again the premise of these videos here. Let me move a couple things into the picture so you guys know that I'm actually alive and streaming. But the premise of these is Blade HQ drops a random knife into the Barney and Friends lunchbox, which is a fun twist. And I just open it up and we talk about it. Some of them I anticipate will be knives I've had before. Some of them will certainly be knives that I have not experienced before. But we'll do a couple things. So I'll do a pocket dump, show you guys what I carried today. I'm going to show you guys all the new stuff, including the Chris Reeve Sabenza that I picked up from Blade HQ. It is one of their exclusives. And then we'll open up the Barney and Friends box, and of course I'll answer any questions that you guys have along the way. So anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Again, welcome everyone. It's Thursday night. We're almost to the weekend, and I don't know if you guys have Monday off, but I do. And I am so excited because I'm behind on videos. I've got a lot of crap I need to film. It's all exciting things. It's all really good things, but I feel really bad when stuff starts to pile up. So anyways, welcome Long, Havoc, Knight, Merrick's, Greg, Nugget, Eli, Ryan. Appreciate it, guys. So let's start with the pocket dump. What am I carrying? I'll move this lovely knife out of the way for a moment. So what is that? My Galaxy S8. Actually carried one of my new knives today. This is the Benchmade Mini Crooked River, and we'll talk about it, but really like it. ZT pen. Let's see. What's up, guys? This is still the Offing Mir Nimitz wallet. Really big fan of this wallet. He has a new model that I'll check out in, I don't know, the near future, I suppose. The Flashlight Barrel Co. light with the steel flame pocket clip, in case you're wondering where the pocket clip came from. What else is in my pockets? Fitbit, watch, keys. I think that's it. I'm groping my pockets. Nothing else is popping out at me, so yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this one just hit dealers today. So depending on who you shop with, they're coming up today. Blade HQ should have this one in stock very, very soon. But yeah, like this one a lot. Really excited about it. Yeah, so that was the pocket dump. Let me move all this crap out of the way. Put my phone on the carpet in case it starts vibrating violently, as always happens in live streams. And yeah, so that was my pocket dump. So 190 or 187 on the Crooked River. So yeah, I mean it's cool. So I haven't handled the Benchmade Fact. That's a really interesting knife. We'll see. I mean, here's the thing, the closer a Benchmade is to the $100 mark, the better it's going to sell. The Benchmade proper is a perfect example of that. So, so the orange ring, white, so slice, again, I'm going to try to read the questions so that you guys watching later know what the hell's going on. But Slicey Dicey says that he does not like the orange pivot collar, whereas I freaking love that. It's just a nice little accent detail that you only got on custom knives up till the last, I don't know, 12 to 18 months. So it's fun. It's a nice detail. I love pivot collars. And the Grail knife, yes, gentlemen. good call. I teased you guys with this on Instagram. This is a grail knife that I had been hunting for 2 years, so we'll talk about that. So let's get into the new stuff here. So first new knife that I got this last week or 2 weeks is the Chris Reeve Sebenza 21. This is a Blade HQ exclusive with the carbon fiber inlays. And you know, again, I've handled tons and tons of Sebenzas over the years, but you know, there's a lot newer, more exciting things coming out that I felt were more video worthy. And so I just held off. I had an on once upon a time. It was a Wilson Combat, and then I had it like anodized gold and stonewashed, and it was perfect. And you know, it went once upon a time. And so anyways, the justification for this was I can always use it for size comparisons, right? So I'll never have a reason like, huh, maybe I should get rid of it, you know? So beautiful knife. I'm certainly developing more of an appreciation for Chris Reeve in general. And I did order a blue, I can't think. I ordered a replacement here for the lanyard tube that'll sit in there without having to have a lanyard on it. So it was made by like MGX gear. I'll show you guys that when I get it. I think it already shipped. So that should be pretty cool. Hey Rick, yes, I will show you guys the grail in a second here. Okay, what's in the pouch? Let's see. All right, so this was the first new acquisition, and again, I had it in my wish list. Blade HQ has a wish list, right? So if something's out of stock, you sign up for email notifications, and this one had been on my wish list for, I don't know, I feel like a couple months, and it popped up, and I immediately grabbed one because I knew they were going to sell it fast, and they definitely did. So I think a matching Menundi would be a delightful companion at some point. So the next time that those come in stock, I'll have an email on that one too, and I'll pick up one of those. So yeah, this one's still breaking in. I haven't taken it apart and put in my lubricant of choice yet, but I will. So, of course, a Sebenza, beautiful knife. Next new acquisition, the We Knives Eschaton. I did a video months and months back. I had one of the prototypes on loan. Certainly a knife to inspire the imagination and, you know, delightful marketing tool. This is a cool knife. And of course, I don't know, I just had to have one. It's so unique, it's so interesting. Not for everyone, and that's okay. I mean, this is first and foremost a demonstration of capabilities, a conversation piece, a marketing tool. Whether you love it or hate it, you know about it, you've talked about it, and that is the whole point. So yeah, had to have one. All right, let's see here. Next new acquisition. This is the Kershaw Dividend. And this is the version in S35VN. So this is an exclusive from House of Blades. So my apologies, Blade HQ. It's a little messed up to talk about another dealer, but I've always liked the American-made offerings that Kershaw has done. I had a link in S35VN as well. I ended up giving that one away. I did a giveaway. And anyways, cool knife. It comes with the deep carry pocket clip, aluminum scales. It is assisted, but you guys would be surprised how many non-knife people like assisted knives. It is staggering. And again, S35VN. So that was the second acquisition, or the third acquisition. I just showed you guys the Mini Crooked River. Beautiful knife. This one is a designated prototype, which is pretty cool. So give you guys another look at this one. Quite a lovely piece. The other new acquisition. This is the Benchmade Grizzly Ridge. And this is a really interesting knife. I like this one quite a bit. It's different. It's fun. I thought this was going to be like titanium or stainless steel, but this is like this rubbery, grippy texture stuff. And then this is a G10, so again, pivot collars. I mean, it's got a collar around the axis lock. What's really functional about this too is the pocket clip sits on the G10 instead of the grippy material, which is a huge benefit. So yeah, very interesting piece. These both came perfectly centered, and they have no blade place. So well done indeed. Okay. Vinny wants to know why Ben at Blade HQ. Why doesn't Ben at Blade HQ know knives? Ben does know knives, but he knows marketing and business more. I mean, he's not a hardcore knife enthusiast. He's a fan, but I mean, knives are his job. So yeah, yep. Oh, almost got me. I was reading a comment while closing a knife. I just cut my nail. All good. All right, so that's again, that's the Grizzly Ridge. To be honest, I quite like it. It's I think it's a fun piece. So again, the closer a Benchmade is to $100, the better it's going to sell, and Benchmades sell. So, all right, should I do the unboxing here that I teased you guys with on Instagram? So let me look at the comments, make sure I'm not missing too much here, real quick. Let's see here. Welcome all. Daniel asks if I disassemble and sharpen my own knives. I disassemble knives as needed. I don't like to needlessly disassemble knives unless I have to. I just have too much going on. And I'm not, like, that's not something fun for me. Like, I'm not like a super technical person. So, as I need to, certainly. There's some knives I'm a little shy about messing with. Other knives I don't care. So, again, it just depends. Look, I cut myself, or I almost cut myself, but I shaved off the edge of my nail with that Benchmade. So it's sharp. Well done, well done. Let's see here. Just looking at the comments real quick, guys. Oh, you guys are complaining that I'm teasing you, huh? All right, yeah. I'll finally open it. So, background story briefly. I have been after this knife for 2 years. I've seen the maker at the last 4 shows, Blade, USN, then Blade, and then USN again. And I have bothered him over and over and over again. And the knife was attainable at like double table price, which I just didn't want to pay. But I had a friend who wanted to free up some funds for TKI. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but it's my friend Micah. He's Knife to Know You on Instagram, and I'm sure most of you guys actually follow him because his pictures are incredible. If you don't, check him out. He's a professional photographer. So he let this one go to me at table price, which to be honest was probably a loss for him. So don't contact him asking for discounts. But I mean, that can be one of those things that happen. I mean, if you have friends in the knife industry, they're gonna do you solids, and this was a solid because he knew I wanted it. So, piece I've been hunting for 2 years, oh, yes. Peter Carey 5050 Nitro. Big fan of Peter Carey, big fan of his work. I have wanted one of these for the longest time. Now, Peter Carey makes a lot of knives, and he makes knives that are way nicer than this one, but this is the one that I knew that I would carry and cherish and love, and I fell in love with this knife. It was at the USN show. And for some reason, I was sitting down talking to a couple of guys, and there were 3 of these all right next to each other. And every single one of them had the exact same action. They were identical. It was absolutely incredible. I was blown away at how perfect all 3 of them were, and by the action. So, yeah. Peter Carey 5050 Nitro. And again, I could have bought this. I mean, table price is $700. Secondary goes anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,400, maybe less now. I haven't looked in a little while, but I just didn't want to pay more than table for it. And I knew that if I was patient, eventually one would come up, and that's exactly what happened. I was patient enough. I waited, and one was offered to me at the exact price I wanted. So again, really appreciate it. So these are a mid-tech. They're part machine done, and then obviously they're assembled, put together by hand. I haven't talked to Peter about how much is done by him versus how much is done by the machine, but this is the only Peter Carey that, 1, I want to afford, and 2, that I would actually carry. So yeah, just let's look at it real quick here. Pivot is freaking awesome. It's got the chevron patterning just like the Benchmade Anthem, and I don't have it next to me, but obviously this preceded the Anthem, but it's got that raised back spacer, over travel stop. The pivot's just so cool. 3D milled clip. I mean, everything is just so nice on this knife. The flipper tab is really well done, but yeah, and it is smooth as all get out. So, you know, this one I probably am going to disassemble, clean it out, and then again put in my lubricant of choice. Anytime I don't have a stainless steel lock insert, you pretty much have to disassemble it if you want to clean and you know, put in your preferred lubricant. You know, you can try to like drop lubricant in from the topper side, but it always ends up on the lock bar. It always causes lock sticks. So, you know, for whoever asked if I disassemble my knives, like, you know, again, if it doesn't have a stainless steel lock insert, you pretty much have to disassemble it. So, look at that. So good. So Peter is probably going to be happy because I will stop bugging him. Like, I'd go up to the show like, hey man, you gonna sell me one of those? He was like, oh, maybe you'll get lucky. And he'd wink at me. And I was like, okay, this is my year. You know, this is my show. And no, like, it just doesn't happen because he has like a deck of 50 cards. And if you draw certain, or the 52 cards, I'm sorry. If you draw one of the cards, then you have the opportunity to buy one of the knives on the table. So, yeah, it just never worked out for me. 4 shows in a row. One of the few, like, you know, not lottos that I'd go in on every single time. So, yeah, so nice. Anyways, I'm just pumped. Again, I could have paid way more than I wanted to for it, but I was patient and it came up. So, let me look at the comments real quick. Okay. Some of you guys thought it was a Rob Carter or a Z Hunter, huh? Cooper Bond asked about the Chris Reeve tie lock. Super cool knife. It's one I'd love to have, but I know I wouldn't keep it long term probably because things have to go out for new things to come in. So someday I would not, if the right deal came up on the tie lock, I would happily pick one up. It's just such a cool knife. Grant and Gavin Hawk designs are incredible. It's really cool, you know, Idaho designers, Idaho made for the tie lock. So, okay, let's see. Steel on this one, I'm not sure. I want to say it's CPM 154. If I had to guess, not marked. Again, you know, this is just a first look. If I was doing a video on this knife, then I would certainly nail down all those details. So, okay. Ooh, everyone's favorite WE knives. Man, that's a tough call. Like in-house WE design. Probably my prototype that I showed you guys a couple times. That thing is ridiculously cool. Has amazing ergonomics. Oh, I also have the 617, highly recommended for $100. That is such a great knife. So, okay. So again, for those who asked, Peter Carey 50/50. This was my last you know, I just went through all my new acquisitions. So this was the creme de la creme, the coup de grace among the new stuff. All right, so let me move all this stuff out of the way. Let's get to the Barney box. Barney and Friends. If I knew the song, I would sing it for you guys, but I don't. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but my mom would definitely shove my little sisters in front of the TV. She had like a videotape of like 8 hours of Barney that was taped. And my little sisters would just, their brains would melt and they would sit in front of the TV for like 8 hours at a time during the summer just watching Barney. Because when I grew up, we had video cassettes. I remember... Again, I'm only like 31, but I remember we had a TV with a corded remote when I was like 5. So, anyways, TMI. So, Barney and Baby Bop, this is the box. And so now we're getting into the portion here where Blade HQ threw something in here. I don't know what it is. They've done some really cool stuff. What was the last time? Oh, last time was the Viper Larius, which was a fun knife. And the first time I did a live stream, what was the knife? It was a... Oh my gosh, someone remind me. I don't remember now. Does anyone remember what the first live stream knife was? It was only a month ago. I can't believe I've already forgotten. Anyways, I'll see it in the comments if someone remembers. But let us turn to the Barney box and see what Blade HQ is surprising me with today. Okay, so we have our honorary hand puppet here, and the knife is inside. Oh, yep. Well done, Nightmarex. It was the Brian Ty Integral, Brian Ty and Friends, Mid-Tech, American-made. That was a fun knife. That was really fun. Okay, can't believe I forgot that, and it was an Integral. How dare I? How dare I? Okay. All right, let's see. Ooh, what do we have? Let's move Barney up. Up. I'm seeing a logo here. I'm seeing a logo. Oh, I love Shirogorov. Oh, so good. Oh, M392. I think they want me to buy this. I think that's why they put it in the box. I think they want me to buy it. All right, let us move the lunchbox that once belonged to Jennifer out of the way. We'll move the Barney hand puppet out of the way. And let us focus on that which is excellent. Oh, they included a spec sheet for me because I need one sometimes. So this particular one is just the, I guess, the 95. So with Shirogorov, there's actually a couple different levels of production, or there are different levels of Shirogorov. So we have the standard production, which are the ones that they used to make. Then we have Three Bears, which I'm assuming this one probably is. And the Three Bears typically has, like, they do more internal skeletonizing, typically multi-row bearing system. You know, typically has the jimping now. And then we move up out of the Three Bears and we move into the Shirogorov club knives, which are, you know, they'll include like pivot collars, you know, same formula, but with like pivot collars and some other nicer details. Then we move up to custom division, which is, you know, like zirconium pivot collars, zirconium backspacer, you know, like really exotic types of steel. And then above that, we get into full customs, which are certainly priced well outside my range. So I did have the Shirogorov F5 Silk custom division. And as much as I hate to say it, I did sell the knife. I had no plans to, I didn't want to, and someone made me an offer that was well beyond fair, and I couldn't say no. So that makes me a horrible person. I know. I feel terrible because I talked about the knife so freaking much. But it's gone, and I miss it. But with the price they were offering, I just couldn't justify carrying it in my pocket every day. So anyways, this one is, you know, this is not an inexpensive knife. Here's the Blade HQ item number, 76640, and there's the price. So yeah, these things are not cheap, but they're, oh, so good. So good. Again, you know, you guys have heard the comparison, but if, you know, these are like the Chris Reeves of the flipper world. Consistency, quality, you know, their secret sauce is that full flat grind, usually with a really good steel. Just simple, clean, and precise. So, anyways, I'm rambling. Let's see what the comments say. Yes, Rick, I do need another Shiro. This could be the one, but as you guys saw, how many knives I picked up this last week, I don't know if this is the week for me. So if someone wants to buy me something nice, I mean, don't be shy, right? Okay. So Koala Pear, that's a cute name. I like that. Koala Pear says that they are overpriced. And, you know, my tagline for Shirogorov in general is overpriced but exceptional, and I will still hold to that. They are, again, you know, in terms of like machining and the simplicity and the quality and, you know, all those magical things we want to reminisce, I think they're a cut above pretty much any other production company. And I view Shirogorov as a production company, but you're right, when you're getting above $1,000, I mean, that is a hard pill to swallow. Is it something that I think everyone should try at some point? Absolutely. Is it hard to keep a Shirogorov around with what they cost? It kind of is. I mean, I've had 5, I think, Shiros. And, you know, it's like, hey, I need to free up some funds because I have this other knife I want to pick up. It's like, oh, I've got an $800 production knife that'll probably sell pretty easy. Maybe I should sell that one. And ultimately, that is what ended up happening. But if I am able to liquidate like a larger portion of my collection this year. I think that this is one that I want to have a Shiro in the stable, just like I want to have a Chris Reeve in the stable. I don't want a Strider. I wouldn't mind a Hinderer, and obviously the ZTs and, you know, all the newer builds and stuff like I want to. But anyways, that's just me. But yeah, you know, again, for a lot of you guys, it's a hard pill to swallow for the price. It definitely is. But if you have the chance, you go to a show, you go to a get together, certainly handle one. Like, it is not one that I would ever dissuade someone from trying. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on Shiro in general. I think they're exceptional. I really want another one, but they're hard to keep around because of how much they cost. And again, it's the same thing with customs. When I've got, you know, over $1,000 in one knife, it's like, huh, that's a lot of cash. I could be, you know, trying a new knife with, or, you know, doing something else with that money. So, you know, I'm there with you. It's just everyone's got different price thresholds where they feel comfortable. And, you know, it's constantly in flux, but typically hovering around a certain spot. So anyways, let's look at this one. They do, you know, they always do really nice, like, stone wash, and I've got fingerprints all over it. I apologize. Just so clean and simple. I love that the plunge line, you know, matches, you know, kind of the frame there. The jimping is very precise, very functional. Just, you know, it's hard to beat a full flat grind for cutting performance. And then M390, I mean, yes, please, right? Especially when you're paying this much, like, I want that level of steel. Flipper tab geometry is perfect. Jimping, texturing works perfectly on the flipper tab. And it's just so smooth. And this one is not broken in. This thing would get way smoother broken in. So, right here, and I don't know we're going to be able to see it, but it typically shows, you know, multi-roll bearing system, or like 3 bears or something. Like, huh, it's not right there. Where is it on this knife? All right, I'm doing a little investigating here, trying to find the markings. They're internal. Where the heck are they? I think this one's a 3 bear. Oh, yep, there we go. So, oh, yeah, let's get it in frame. Genius. Right in there it says, there we go, multi-row bearing system. So, you know, ooh, the standoff's got a little hint of blue in there. That's nice. I haven't seen that on some of them. And then they have, you know, this hardware that you can use a flathead with, but they also have tools that you can pick up. Pocket clip works. So, I mean, guys, again, overpriced but exceptional. I have nothing but good things to say about the quality and the fit, the finish, and the performance, and all those things with regard to Shirogorov. So, it's just the price that comes into play. Like, that's the hard part. So, all right, let's see what some of the comments are. Vinny asked if I've ever handled the BBM collaboration knife. I will need a little more explanation on that. I'm not sure what BBM is. Okay. Yeah, so Koala Bear, dude, I love that name. Just talked about how he had a Shiro F3 and he just couldn't justify keeping it for the price. So he sold it. Again, I've done it obviously 5 times now, and I hate myself for it because I always miss having one every freaking time I sell them. So, oh, the sickness is real, and we have it. So, I can't see the lock. Push the lock bar over a finger. Vinny is talking about something about... Hold on. I don't know what you're talking about, Vinny, with the lock bar over travel. So one interesting thing, if you guys haven't seen this before, let's see if we can get it to focus. There is a small lip right here at the edge of the stainless steel lock insert. And so even if you wanted to push this thing over, well, I just did. That's as far over as this knife will ever go. So even after a certain amount of use, it'll always lock up at 50% once it's worked its way over there. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a cool feature. They're the only ones that do it, or at least they were the originator of it, as far as I'm aware. If I'm wrong, feel free to let me know. But let's take a look at this. The handles here, the bear, beautifully placed. This has got a gorgeous blue and gold stonewash. You can see hints of the machine. Actually, no. Man, what a beautiful stone. I mean, I love the anodization on this one. The lanyard hole is only on this one side here. Centering is perfect, of course. Yeah, that ano is just something. So now with most of the Shirogorovs I've had, I end up having to use blue Loctite. You know, they'll work themselves loose after a little while, but again, it's like that with a lot of knives. So that's not a detractor. It's just your pivot might come loose. You use blue Loctite. That's just the name of the game with flippers, because they, you know, obviously they take a lot of, they get hit with a lot of force, and then the lock bar disengagement on this thing. You guys can see they leave the lock bar a little bit higher up. It's just so comfortable. Oh, damn you, Blade HQ. I really want this one now. Oh, I really want this. Yeah, just so clean. Just so clean. So, and they also do a chamfering up here where the flipper tab is. So, you know, again, it's just a really refined design, whether it's the 95, the F3, the F5, I think the F7, and I've never handled any of the full custom. Well, no, that's a lie. I handled some of the full custom Shirogorovs either at Blade or the USN show. I think so. Yeah, I did. They have some interesting, like, kind of funky models too. One of them, I was standing at the table when it went for like 12 grand at the USN show. I think it was an auction piece. And I mean, the guy who won it, what was his name? Like, I think his name was Vlad too. He was so excited. He just spent like 12 grand on an auction knife, and he was like jumping up and down. I was like, man, I want those types of problems. So, all right, let me look at the comments real quick. Woo! Let's scroll down here. Okay, I think that Shirogorov is somewhere between Chris Reeve and Beg USA Shop Knives production, yes. Near perfection, consistent, yes. Definitely worth it, yes. Depends on the individual. Yeah, so my buddy Rick, he's in here, and he is a Shirogorov aficionado. Dude's got a lot of Shiros, and he has a lot of good things to say about him for good reason. So I agree, Rick. I know. I need more. Okay. So yeah, Larry, I'm not quite sure like how the pricing works. Again, one of the other hard things with Shirogorov is that technically their only authorized dealer is Recon One in the U.S. But a bunch of other dealers recently got some Shiros, including Blade HQ. I mean, I don't know how well Shiros are selling anymore. I mean, I don't know anything about their market, or if like Recon One had to sell off a bunch of them because they weren't really moving. I mean, it'd be really fascinating to know that, but I doubt anyone's going to give me details like that, you know. But again, I love Shiros. So, Douche Tree 13 asks if this is a new Shiro. Yeah, this is on loan from Blade HQ. This is like brand new in box. You can tell the action is not broken in just yet, but it'll definitely get smoother. So let's see here. Okay, some of you guys are talking about like being a problem that you can push the lock bar over. I don't really see that. I've never seen a Shirogorov fail. In fact, to be honest, it's pretty rare that you see knives locks fail. Most of the time it's guys who buy gas station knives and they do terrible things that put their fingers at risk with them. I don't really have any concerns about a Shiro, you know, being able to push over the lock bar or having it ever fail, to be honest. You know, I don't know. That's just me. Again, it'd be hard to say anecdotal data, you know, what's the sample size, how many people are using it to that level. And at this price point, we might never know. So, okay. So Hamilton Borden's talking about the stop lock on the Spartaco Parata. I have not looked at that knife too much yet. Spartaco just hasn't really excited me in a long time. They have a prototype. So if you go to the shows, they've got their prototype booth. It's the red booth. You guys know all about it. And they have a model there from Dmitry Sinkovich that is freaking exceptional. And that is the only Spyderco that I'm like jonesing for, but there is no anticipated release date on that. I have no idea when it's coming. They don't let people show pictures of it. I posted a picture of the actual custom it was based upon, I think at like the last Blade show I went to. But that's the only like Spyderco that I'm like dying to get my hands on. I mean, I really like, you know, Dmitry Sinkovich's work. So Cosmic Bro wants to know what's the most expensive knife you would buy. To be honest, my cap, like the most I've ever spent, was $1,300, and those ones, honestly, they just don't really stick around for that long. I mean, my comfortable price point is like $4 to $5. In reality, I mean, that's where most of my knives are. So, you know, that has to be like a really good reason. Like I'm going way, way above that. So yeah, you know, that's me. Everyone's got their price point. There are guys that spend like $5 on knives. It's not a big deal. And I'm not mad about it, you know, good for them. I've got my price point, you've got yours, everyone's got their own, so. Oh, come on. Sometimes the chat like jumps like crazy when I'm trying to scroll through it. So Qualipair is saying that the lock bar lip seems like a recipe for lock rock. Again, I've never seen it on a Shiro, to be honest. I mean, there are quite a few of them out there. I just have never heard of that, so. What's the next Grail knife you got? House of Jello Productions asks. Oh, what's the Grail knife you got? So again, I'll bring that back out briefly here. So actually, let's move this. I don't want to scratch that, but it was the Peter Carey 5050 Nitro. So a very cool piece for me, one I've been chasing for 2 years, and finally got one for the price that I wanted to pay for it. So just a really cool piece. So I'm certainly not let down by it by any means. It was just as exceptional as I remember. So okay. Oh, okay. So Vinny clarified when he was talking about some BBM collaboration earlier. That was the Nick Chuprin and Rob Carter. I've never handled one. Looks interesting. I mean, it, you know, it doesn't look interesting enough for me to run out and buy it, but it looks like a cool knife. So, okay. Yeah. So, still just talking in the comments about the, you know, the lockup and stuff on the Shiros. And Qualipair pointed out that, you know, with the stainless steel lock insert, you know, again, it should be fine, shouldn't be any issues. There are a lot of knives that, I mean, here's the thing with, you know, with lockup, lock engagement. We as enthusiasts, we like to try new things often. So it's not like the knife has, you know, been in rotation for 20 years and someone's used it every single day, and you know, it's like, okay, did it hold up? I mean, there are very few knives out there that are like that. Again, I think, you know, Chris Reeve is one of the few where they've been out for long enough and people have been carrying the same knife for long enough that there is enough data out there, you know, to really come to an educated opinion on it. And the other problem is there's always new models coming out from some of these companies. So, you know, if there is going to be a problem, we won't know for a long time, and then the knives will be so dispersed that you won't know where to find it or how to find it. Or, I mean, it's, yeah, it's interesting to think about from a long-term perspective. So, all right. Let's see here. So Brent Quinn asks if I would use a knife that expensive. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, the hard thing is that people have different definitions of use. You know, to some people, using a knife is cutting open envelopes. To other people, using a knife is stabbing it through a car hood. There's no one, like, standardized definition of what use means. So if I have a knife in my pocket, I will use it. If it's, you know, if I don't want to use it for whatever my uses are, then I won't carry it. And those are safe queens, and you know, I've sold off all my safe queens over the years. I've had a couple every now and again, and if I'm not carrying it, I just can't justify keeping it. You know, I'm not enjoying it. It just, and again, that's how I am as a collector. There's no right or wrong way to be a collector. There's no right and wrong way to enjoy this hobby. As long as you're enjoying it and you still think of it as a hobby, great. If it's not a hobby, then you have one knife and you're not like watching knife videos. You're not on blade forums. You're not like, you know, looking at Blade HQ's like new arrivals every freaking day. So whatever makes you happy, I mean, that's where it's at. So, All right, let's see here. How much is your entire collection worth? Dogger asks. I'm not good at math, man. I'm just not even going to do those numbers. Actually, it doesn't matter. You know, it's, yeah, I mean, I don't care. It is what it is. So, and I've been collecting knives for like 7 years now. So you add a couple new knives each year. After 7 years, you've got quite a number of knives. You know, you do it for 20 years, and just the accumulated value over time. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So House of Jello, no CRKT Razzle, huh? You know, I do not like the Razzle design. To me personally, it looks hideous. I think it's just a freaking ugly design. And yeah, it's useful. I'm sure it's got some uses and crap, but it just does not do it for me. Like I just don't like the Razzle. So, but the people who like it, I mean, they freaking love it. More power to them. I'm just not gonna buy one, but I'm not gonna put them down for liking it or carrying it or using it. It just doesn't float my boat. So, CRK reliable for survival situations or just fancy lookers? Soon asks. You know, again, there are knives out there that have been, they're like 20 years. Like you can go sometimes on the forums and find like a 20-year-old like Sabenza, and if it is still like functioning after 20 years, then I'm gonna say it's pretty suitable for like hard use survival. I mean, it's lasted the test of time. So, you know, CRKT, whether you love them or hate them, they're one of the few brands that have knives that are still out there in use after 20 years that aren't like, you know, K-bar fixed blades or some other stuff. Like among folders, they're one of the most time-tested companies out there, period. So again, I have no concerns with the longevity. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to estimate what my collection costs. It's just, you know, it's really not important. So, you know, it shouldn't ever be about the money. It should always be about, do I enjoy this? You know, am I being reasonable with my finances? So, yeah. Anyway, so that, I mean, yeah, let's take a look at the the Shiro again. So good. So good. Ergonomics are just, you know, it's pretty comfortable. Like I've got more comfortable knives, but it's just simple and clean. I mean, let's put these two side by side. A lot, I guess philosophically, a lot in common between these two. You know, they're not as, Shirogorov is not as time tested as Chris Reeve, but I mean, the quality's there. So there's a machinist, his name's Luke Princeton. He works with Clyde Challoner in South Africa, and he's an amazing machinist. And he collects Shirogorovs because he respects the machining so much on them. And I respect his work as a machinist. The stuff he does, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. So when you have someone who's like machine work you respect, and they respect a production company's machine work, I mean, that's really saying something about like the quality. So, you know, whatever that's worth to you. All right. So how am I liking the Chris Reeve 20 or the Sabenza 21? You know, I'm liking it more. I'm definitely liking it more, you know, for what it is. I mean, it's certainly not an exciting knife as compared to, you know, a lot of other things that are out these days, but there's, again, a quality and a heritage there and a longevity and a history, so it has a lot going on for it. But I forgot how freaking thin they hollow grind this thing. I mean, this thing is just thin as can be, and the quality on this one, I mean, everything's perfect. So, you know, still looking to break it in. I will be getting a, so you guys know Millet knives, or you've probably heard of Millet knives. They make pocket clips for Sabenzas. And so they make a pocket clip with, you know, the polished carbon fiber inlay like this one. I think this is polished. And so I think it would match the knife way better. And so I'm definitely getting one of those when they bring those back in stock. And then I'm also taking out the lanyard tube and replacing it with one that's an aftermarket made by MGX that will, you know, stay in there without having to take a piece of paracord or whatever and like melting it in there so that it stays and doesn't fall out. So, you know, I've got a couple upgrades coming. But if I was going to get one Chris Reeve, like I wanted the 21 because of the pivot bushings. You know, the Nkosi is like, is the Nkosi the new model? I think it is. Yeah, I think the Nkosi is the new model, right? But I mean, they went away from the pivot bushing system, and you know, I think that's what makes like one of the selling factors of the Sabenza, and is like quintessential Chris Reeves. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Oh, 2018. What production knives are you looking forward to? Good question. Oh, damn it, dude! I'm all about cutting myself as I read freaking comments. So 2018, like, you know, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you guys, like, I'm super excited for whatever ZT is gonna be coming out with this year. So yeah, I'm really pumped for SHOT Show because I want to see what new stuff they're bringing. I hope they have a new like limited edition this year. So anything ZT, like, I'm all about. What else? What else am I really looking forward to? I'm gonna try not to buy so many customs in 2018. Like, I'm gonna try to throttle that back a little bit, because you know, just financially, like I can get like 3 or 4 knives, you know, really high quality, you know, production knives or whatever. Not this one. 3 or 4, you know, really high quality production knives for the price of one custom. So I'm gonna try to like hold back on customs this year. So ZT for sure. Although Clyde Challoner is gonna have a new custom, so like I'm pretty sure like I won't be able to resist that. Let's see what other companies. What else? I was thinking about this earlier, but now I can't think of like what I'm really pumped about. I mean, Riot's going to do something awesome this next year. Any integral, production integral that's like really high quality, I'm of course excited about. Any like Persian. So my two greatest weaknesses among knives are definitely integrals and Persians. So if someone wants to make like a Persian integral, please and thank you, and to everyone else, you're welcome. What other companies am I excited about? I mean, We Knives is probably gonna have like make a crap ton of knives. I'm sure they're gonna be great. Riot's gonna do some good stuff. I'm sure Leon Ma is gonna have like a really cool new design this next year. Man, what else is there? I don't know. What are you guys excited? I'm like, what are some of the companies you guys are looking at? Not expecting much out of, you know, most of the budget companies. You know, I'd be really excited to see some new like American-made Kershaws this next year. If they have any cool designs that are American-made, you know, because the quality of these ones is obviously above the stuff they make in China, and the materials are typically better too, and the price point is still fairly reasonable, usually like sub 100 for, you know, the American-made stuff. So, I mean, hopefully Kershaw comes out with some American-made stuff this year. That would be awesome. What else is coming? Man. I don't know. Let me look through some of the comments here. Okay. So Powerful K9 says the Leon Ma 15. Yeah, love that knife. I mean, it's not cheap, but you're getting a lot of bang for the buck. There are custom knives that are not as nice as that knife for 3 times the price. Would you recommend the Riot K3? Definitely. Quality is really, really good. Action's really good. The design is pretty futuristic and pretty funky, but I definitely dig it. Tommy D3 Jr. says production and mid-techs are getting so damn good. I don't see the custom market thriving the way it has. I would disagree. You can't put a price on exclusivity. You know, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a custom market. Is it shifting? Yeah. I think that smaller knives are becoming more vogue this year. You know, like with the Leon Ma Lanny Flipper or whatever, kind of a shift. Jared Ogier, he's picking up a lot of steam still, and his knives are pretty expensive. So again, shifting towards kind of those like more traditional style you know, knives, and those custom makers who are like at the forefront of that, they're always, I mean, the market always shifts. Custom's never going to become less popular, but they're less of a value proposition when you've got production knives that are so freaking good. So I would definitely say that. Let's see here. Someone asked Koala Pear. Dude, I love that name. I keep reading your comments because that freaking name. So Koala Pear wants to know if I've checked out Holt Blade Works. I have seen his stuff, and essentially kind of the same business model as Grimsmo Brothers, I think, from what it looks like. Really high quality, machine made, you know, CNC built knives. I saw a couple videos and stuff. Apparently the people who are getting them seem to be really happy. So, yeah. Let's see. Powerful Canine, Kershaw Piston. Yeah. I don't remember that knife right now, but let's see. So Vinny says he's excited for Fair and Forge to go back to custom and away from 200 knife runs. I don't know if they will. I mean, scale of economics, you have to work harder and make less money making knives one at a time. I just don't see them going back to customs. I've never really liked, I'm not like the biggest fan of the Hoback rolling detent, and on the Fair and Forge models that I've had, they have like crazy lock bar pressure to compensate for the HRD, the Hoback rolling detent. Haven't really been a huge fan of that. I see Fair and Forge doing more with mass drop and actually getting more production and less mid-tech than they have been. That's my guess. So Michael Goodwill asks, Sweet Eschaton or Riot K3? The Riot K3 is going to be a more useful knife. It's also a more expensive knife. But I mean, man, whatever floats your boat. I mean, again, people who say that this is like not a useful knife, again, it just depends on what you're doing. Like if you're in the kitchen, like again, doing food prep with this, the question is, why are you doing that? If you're just going to use it opening packages or, you know, your daily carry, whatever, it's fine. Again, everyone has different needs. I mean, if you work in construction and you like to use your pocket knife for crap, yeah, that's may not be the knife for you. But again, I'm not going to tell you guys what you should and shouldn't be using knives for or what constitutes use, because it differs for everyone, and it's none of my damn business to tell you what you should and shouldn't use it for. So, okay. Ooh, some good questions in here. Do you think the Norseman craze will end soon, especially after their major price hike? Price hikes are a dangerous game, and the price hikes itself are not as important as just supply and demand with regard to, you know, customer production knives. As the supply out there continues to increase, the demand will decrease, prices will drop. You can only stay relevant at the top of the market for so long. It doesn't matter who you are. People, or, you know, someone's going to move on, someone else is going to come, do the same thing that you're doing and do it for less expensive or do it better. So again, not specific to Grimsmo in any way, but no one's going to stay at the top forever. There are custom makers who a couple of years ago, you know, they were selling their knives, like every knife would be like a $4,000 auction, and now they can't sell them for $1,200. So, you know, part of that could be quality, could be customer service, but again, supply and demand, you simply cannot outpace that. There are strategies to work around it, but you're never going to stay at the top forever. It's just not possible, because everyone wants what they can't have, and that's what exclusivity is all about. So I mean, that's my opinion. Let's see here. Curious to see. So Nightmare X talks about curious to see what Benjamin does with their Hunt series. Yeah, I mean, these are both great examples, you know, within the Hunt series here, and these are both in fact Hunt. So they did pretty big shift a couple years ago. They used to have like a blue line and a black line and the Bone Collector, and like I think the Hunt series existed back then, and they've scaled back, but these are both, you know, very adequately sized knives. 3.4, I think, on this one. This one might be just like 3.3. It's a little bit shorter. Very EDCable. And, you know, again, I dig the orange accents, and, you know, I'm a knife guy. non-knife guys who Benchmade sells a lot of freaking knives to, they're gonna dig the orange and the wood because it's like hunter-esque, you know, reminds them of their hunting crap, and that's gonna float their boat. So I think these knives have a lot of appeal across the board. Definitely the two that I was most interested in out of their new stuff. So, okay. What are your thoughts on Browse blades? Their pocket clips have been terrible, and that's a huge turnoff for me. If you don't have a, like, I don't care if like your pocket clip is like some fancy 3D milled pocket clip, or if it's just like a whatever spring clip. It just better damn work. Like, I'm not someone who gets all like hot and bothered about, oh, if this price point, it better be like milled. No, it doesn't freaking matter to me. If it works with the design and it functions and I can carry it in jeans, then that's enough for me. So the Browse blades, like the models I've tried, their pocket clips were freaking terrible. I did not like them. And their price points are pretty high for the materials. So people have a lot of good things to say about Browse as a person and his customer service, and there are people who really dig his designs, and again, more power to him. I'm never going to tell you what to buy or what not to buy. It's all about what floats your boat, and if you buy a lemon because you didn't do your research, that's on you, you know? And again, I'm not saying his knives are lemons, but that's just in general. So I don't like to tell people what to buy. I like to give them more info, but I don't want to direct people's purchasing decisions because I don't like people trying to direct mine. So action on these two is actually really good. Again, I mean, these are both brand new. They're not broken in yet, but, you know, action for me is certainly adequate. We'll see how they are once they're broken in, but opens just fine. Man, this is such a good looking design. I think this will be one of their best sellers for this year. And this one, who knows, but this one might be a better sell. I mean, again, it's hard to say. Benchmade has a unique marketing strategy where they are in places like Cabela and gun shops, and you know, you go up to a gun counter, you ask some guy behind the counter, like, what's the nicest knife you guys sell? Like, they don't freaking know. They just know like Benchmade is good, and you know, and so they tell people to buy Benchmade. And you know, among like gun guys, which is way bigger than the knife community, a lot of them just know Benchmade and they carry Benchmade, especially assisted and automatic. Every gun guy I know who doesn't know anything about knives has an assisted or automatic Benchmade, and they beat the crap out of them. So again, really interesting. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Michael's saying can't beat orange and gray. Stainless steel, hold on. Vinny asking a slew of questions. I don't know what the first one means. Oh, okay, I think he's just giving his explanation for what matters. Okay. So Koala Pear is just talking about, you know, their better names. Yeah, like, yeah, Koenig. Koenig is, man, the Gen 2 Arius models are, like, I have a Gen 1. I'm going to get a Gen 2 probably. Okay, so I'm going to get a new Arius this next year from the Gen 2, and I'm going to do some really special stuff on it, or at least for me. It's going to be really cool. So, I mean, that one is already like a planned 2018 purchase. I have the Gen 1, and the Gen 1's great, but the Gen 2 is way better. I would compare his knives favorably to Shirogorov, to be honest. But they're less expensive. You know, different formula, but the way they feel and the action and things like that, I think there's a lot of similarities. But, you know, again, that full flat grind on a, you know, reasonably, you know, not overly thick blade stock. It's just, that's their secret sauce. So, okay. So Michael Goodwill, one question: what knife would you buy on a $400 budget? Give me a recommendation before I blow my load on the K3. Man, that is tough. There are just so many freaking good knives, especially at the $400 price point. For a user, I would take the K1 over the K3. Has a pretty nice hollow grind, and the ergonomics are amazing. But I mean, if you're looking at the K3, it's because it visually floats your boat. And so if you don't get it, you're going to regret not getting it, and you're going to go out and buy one later anyway. So just get the K3. We both know that's the right answer at this point. Okay, let's see here. Do I know when the black DLC M4 Manix 2 is coming out? Jake from State Farm asks. I do not. I really don't Spyderco makes great knives, and I would always push someone towards Spyderco, but they don't have anything new enough or exciting enough to where I'm like following like when are the new Spydercos coming out, except for that freaking Dmitry Sinkovich that I swear to God it better not have S30V. Like it had better have better steel than that, because that would be a huge letdown in a knife that nice, and people will be unhappy and blah 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 blah. So, okay. Ooh, yes. Okay, that's the so Ranfi Alejandro says, weren't Custom Knife Factory releasing another integral knife? Yes, they have teased it like a bunch of jerks. Freaking Mike. I'm pretty sure it's a Satori. That is an absolute must-have. My last Custom Knife Factory integral, the Tegral, I've had so many offers on that knife. I will not sell it. I love that freaking knife. It is one of the smoothest knives in my collection, bar none. So I have really, really high hopes for the Satori. Hopefully they don't break my heart and let me down, because like that is like one of the knives that I'm genuinely excited about for this year. So, okay. Nightmare wanted to give whoever it was a recommendation for 400 to buy a lot of Z Hunters, and one of them is bound to be good. So he's taking the you put enough monkeys in front of a typewriter analogy and they will type you a Bible. So, all right. Yeah, so Dodger's just saying there's no information on the Sinkovich collab again. They just have, so here's the problem. At the Spyderco prototype booth, the model that they have there is a custom Sinkovich. It's not, they haven't really run with it yet. It's just like, hey, this is the table, what do you guys think? And so like the one I handled was like a full custom Sinkovich, and oh my gosh, I had a moment with that knife. I was like, so do you guys know how much this is worth? And the lady just looked at me funny behind the counter like, shut up. So Mitch asked what I think of the Lamic Busker. Too small for me. Everyone says it's really good, but I mean like 3.25 is as small as I like to go for the most part. It's a little bit too small for me. So Powerful K9, if you had to pick one of the Liang Ma's, which would it be? I want to say, what are we doing with it though? I mean, I love the 15, the new integral, because it is everything delicious and intriguing and delightful, all wrapped into one with that hand-ground blade and integral construction. But like for one that you'll use more often than not, I would probably say the Lanny Flipper is the knife that I hand to people, and everyone unanimously like loves that knife for the size and you know the way that it feels. And I mean, that's probably would be my recommendation, even though excuse me, my voice is going. I get all hot and bothered about the Leon 15. So okay, Olemic Wayfarer, great knife. Let's see. So Blitz BBFFL asks if I've ever had to adjust lock bar tension on a knife to improve the action. Yes, I have. I'm trying to remember which knife it was. So there's a right and a wrong way to do it. I mean, with the knives that I buy these days, most of the time the action is good enough. I mean, I haven't had to send a knife back in a long time, but I remember bending a one lock bar, and I think I improved it, and I think I effed one up after that. So it's definitely hit or yeah. It was like a bad blood knife. It was a piece of crap, and so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna adjust this thing, and it improved it. But when you take a turd and you polish it a little bit, it's still a turd. So. Uncle Stoney wants to know what would be a first good Todd bag knife. So it hasn't, I mean, probably I mean, I've only got two. So the Bodega's big. Probably the mini Bodega. I think that'd be a really good one to start with if you're down with knives in that size range. The Riot Steelcraft Mini Bodega. The upcoming Mini Quaken, I think, will be a really, really good one too, but I don't know when that one's coming out. I've seen and handled the prototypes, but yeah. Andre Thorburn, Koala Bear asks, his action is like second to none. I think he has a ton of value in his knives. I would definitely recommend any of his customs. You can pick up an incredible Thorburn on the secondary market for like $650, $700, and it'll put knives like twice that price to shame. So, anyone here? Okay, let's see. Best Kaiser to pimp is what Less Than Ryan 92 asks. Honestly, like most Kaisers are just like stonewashed titanium, so I'd say any Kaiser is a perfect Kaiser to pimp. One of my favorites is the Ursa Minor. I think that's a really, really good Kaiser. And I really like the Matt Degnan Guru as well, even though it's got a pretty thick blade stock. I still really like it. So yeah. So anyways, let's do a quick recap of some of the new stuff, and then we'll end it there. So again, this is the Benchmade Grizzly Ridge. So far, so good. I dig it. I think it's cool. The Mini Crooked River, yeah, definitely. Really, really like this one. So the Wheat Knives Eschaton, I mean, I had to, right? I definitely had to. So Chris Reeve, Sabenza 21, Carbon Fiber, Blade HQ exclusive, now sold out yet again. I'm kind of getting it. I'm digging it. Damn, keep cutting myself. Holy crap, guys. Live streams are seriously hazardous to my fingers. I mean, this is no joke. So, Peter Carey 5050 Nitro. 2 years, man. Totally worth it. It was worth waiting for. So, any other Peter Carey, I just couldn't justify carrying any of his dress models. Too rich for my blood. They're too freaking nice. And Peter Carey is a nice guy. Great maker, great quality. So nothing but good things to say. This next year, he may have some cool stuff coming out that's more affordable for the lay people. But I didn't tell you, and you didn't hear it here. But yeah, we'll see when and if and how and when and stuff and things. So hopefully that was okay to share. And the last new one, Dividend S35VN. I'll say right off the bat that this deep carry pocket clip actually adds a little extra girth to the knife that I think it needs. So yeah, that improves it for me significantly. So yeah, digging this one. You just can't beat that thin blade stock there if you like a little slicer, which honestly, like, this isn't a knife for just about everyone. This is a knife for the masses. So, all right. Anyways, thank you, Blade HQ, for giving me delicious Shorogorovness to play with. Here was the model number, or the Blade HQ item number if you want to go check it out. But, you know, after I do this live stream, I'll put a link in the description box below if you're looking at it later. So, anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great night. And the Monday is a holiday. I don't have to go to work, so hooray. And that'll do it. Take care.